Hi, this is Ginger Cook, and John and I are on vacation this week in May of 2017, and so instead of doing a live video, we are putting up pre-recorded ones. I've had a lot of questions about doing abstracts, so I thought this would be a fun one to do, and this is the original one that I created for the lesson. This is the one that this is the finished piece. You can see I changed it slightly. The thing about an abstract is that no two are ever going to look the same. Something that's sort of unique. There's a couple unique things about this video I want to share with you. They're really important. So you've got paint all over my hands. You can kind of get an idea. Is that because with two things. Not in this one, but on this one, I added something called modeling paste by Liquitex. Different companies make it, and I added that to the paint to give a little more body to the flowers. Let me zoom in so you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it. These flowers are just slightly raised off the canvas, all right? And the reason I did that is because a lot of people have asked me when they start with acrylics. They don't have professional acrylics, and they're using some sort of student basic paint. So let me zoom back out a bit, all right? So I took a box of Liquitex, basic acrylics. These are your student-grade acrylics, and except for the white, which we use professional white, which we really want to do regardless. If you're starting, this is a must to have professional white. We went ahead and used the colors in the kit to create this other painting. Well, in the first one, I used just my professional acrylics, and you can see that in order for me to achieve the effect I needed with the bright colors, I had to go over this maybe 3 or 4 times, where this one was all pretty much one coat and go. All right. So the question is, do I save money when I'm using student grade? And my feeling is you don't, because you have to go over your colors so many times to get it. Now, the reason we also did the modeling paste was to give your flower a little more body. I probably wouldn't have needed it in this regular abstract, but it's still nice, even if you're using professional acrylics. If you wanted to add modeling paste at the very end, you're talking about a teaspoon. You don't need a big giant jar like this. Try to get something small. And you're going to find that sometimes gives a little bit more oomph to your painting. And I'll show you how to use that. And this is a really fun video to do. And one of the things that's come up is that, people like flower paintings. And on our website, we have so many regular flower paintings. I haven't done a lot of abstract, but, Vincent van Gogh is kind of abstract. This is when you go gingercooklive.gallery. This is one of my favorites that we have, cornflowers and poppies. And this is available as a downloadable lesson where you can own it completely or be part of the group of over 295 lessons that we have, all with one low subscription price, under $30 a month, to access any of them. Another one of my very favorite paintings that we have on our website is called Rainbow Rose. You can also own this or rent this as an individual lesson. If you're liking all these colors, you see the colors that are in this or in this one. Isn't that pretty? And then if you're more, want something a little more serious, this particular rose is, again, individual lesson. Talks about very simple gradation of sky. I have some traceable for that. And then finally, I want to show on our website this basket with pansies. We have so many beautiful flower paintings. I can't show them all to you. But please check us out, gingercooklive.gallery. Just really check out some of these wonderful acrylic lessons from very beginner, never painted before, to advanced artist, and that's what we try to do. And also, it's come to our attention, John and I want to wish everybody a really nice experience with this. In order to get the straight lines, I want to mention this too, is you're going to want some artist tape, and I show you how to do that. This is a little 8x10 canvas. If you have not subscribed to our channel, I'm going to really ask you to do so. It seems like according to statistics, 50% of the people that watch our videos, which we put up on YouTube for free, and we really appreciate it if you would subscribe. It allows other people, the more subscribers an artist or any YouTube creator has, the more likely their videos are shown around and more people can benefit from them. And it's a nice thing to do. We're going to just start asking people, really help us out. Please subscribe. We don't send you emails. Nothing terrible happens. It's all fine. And your comments are welcome at the bottom. I try to answer them. Even when on the trip, we will be answering them. If you're subscribing, putting up fun little videos on our vacation. And if you're a subscriber, you will then get if there's a little bell underneath the subscribe button, if you will, click that too, then you're going to notice when we put something up live, if we're going live while we're out of town, we're going to try to be doing that. So please enjoy our abstract roses. And again, you can see that this painting is slightly different than the other one because no two abstracts are the same. And yours doesn't have to look exactly like this. This is where you get a little creative. But I show you the basics of how to create something like this and how to make it your own. And also, I think the comparison of the basics to the professional acrylics is a really good one. I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. Hi, this is Ginger Cook, and I thought today what would be really fun would be to do an abstract painting. I'm going to show you how to use some tape, and we're going to use a triangle to get our lines straight. This is a little triangle, and we're going to use a ruler and an 8x10 canvas. And people have been asking me what's the difference between the professional acrylics that I like to use, the heavy body, either structure by Matisse or the Liquitex heavy body or the golden paints. And I thought it would be fun to, I have a set of, this is Liquitex Basics. They're 24 tubes. People often buy this. They don't want to learn to mix the colors. So we're just going to use this basic set. And I'm going to show you, how a painting might be done like this. I would encourage you to use go out and get a structure or a heavy body white. If you do that, that'll make a world of difference in all these other colors, all right? So we're not going to, we're just going to put this like this, and we're going to just play with our canvas. We're going to start with, like I say, an 8x10 canvas. Here's our tubes of paint. Let me zoom back out like that. And the first thing we're going to do is just sort of draw on the canvas, and we're going to go ahead and block in these little triangles, all right? That's what the first thing we're going to do. All right, so let me get a canvas, and we'll start doing that. Okay, so the first thing, I've got a little 8x10 canvas, just a little inexpensive one I got at Michael's, and I want to lightly sand it so my brushes don't wear out, like that. This doesn't take much. And then, okay, so that's it. And then we want to take the back of the canvas like this and spray it with a little water. And this will tighten it up. And you can use hot water. If it's really loose, use hot water. Just light mist of water on the back of this. You could use a brush and brush it on too if you didn't have a mister. Just get the back of this damp. And what will happen is your canvas, see, that's still thumpy. So that's not, I'm going to just put some water on here with a brush. I'm just going to show you what happens. Just get a little brush, put a bunch of water on here like this, and I want to shrink this canvas. Now, if I use a hairdryer on this, I mean, and those of you who remember what it's like to take pure cotton and then wet it and put heat on it, of course, it really shrinks it. Now, let's see. See the difference? Hear it? It should sound like a drum. All right. So, all right, these are our paints. Let's just move these down here for a minute, out of the way. And let's just start with our biggest square. So I'm going to come over on our canvas about 3.5 inches. And let's see, I'm going to turn everything sideways. That's a little bit easier for me. I'm going to just take a piece of colored chalk and 3.5 inches. Pencil is not a good idea, and here's why. Because what happens is when we want to go about 5 inches down, the pencil never erases. All right. So, okay. So I'm just going to make a little square here. That's probably as easy as anything. And let's see. So here's our little triangle. So what you do with the triangle is you hold it. Let's move this out of the way. You place it where it's just level up on the top here. Just kind of come down here like that. Then I'm going to just put it this way, make sure it's level here. That gives me my straight line. Okay, as long as it's parallel to the sides here, like that. So there's my first angle. Now I'm going to come out here a little bit just come out about 1 inch and draw another straight line down like this. Okay, and this is, you know, just, this is approximate, doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, that's good. Now I want to come down, let's come down, let's see, we're going to break this up one more time. And this is fun because we want to come out about 1 inch here, and I want to come down about, this is not a straight line anymore, this sort of angles. So if we come down about 5 inches on this side, like here, it's my funny old ruler, 5 inches here, I want to come in about 1.5 inches this way, about 1.5 inches this way. And then I'm just going to go ahead and angle a line like that. Just make our little pattern. Okay, draw lines across here like this. Doesn't have to be too perfect. Now we've got another square here, which is about 3.5 inches. So let's come this way, about 3.5. Okay. And I want to come down, straight down, about 3 3/4 inches. And at this point, if it's not perfectly straight, it will be more interesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like that, 3 3/4 inches. Then I want to come across straight this way, like that. Okay, just breaking these rectangles up a bit. All right, because I know the pattern can get a little confusing. Now at this point, I want to come over here about let's see. We want to come over here about 1 inch, about that far, and come down about, about 1.5 inches and come across like this. Then I want to come down, just do a little thing like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, that's a little wider than what I've got. Maybe I'm going to do something like this. There we go, like that. Okay, so now, if we've got that one, let's come straight across. All right, let's just bring this straight down. Let's just bring this line straight down. And again, if yours is a little different than mine, it really doesn't matter. This is just sort of interesting background patterns. I'm going to break this one up one more time too, like this, just in here like this. Maybe come across straight like that. Now, the big one, the one that we really sort of care about is right here. There's a little square right about like that. It's about like, you know, not very tall, maybe a little taller than that. And then right here at the top, I just drew a line all the way across here. All right. There's a little circle here, a little oval here. And this comes down at an angle like this. Let's make this oval a little bit bigger. This is all about straight lines, so we'll draw this down, straight lines down here like this. Got an angle like this here. Okay. And we're going to break this shape up right about here. And just come in here about, I will say 1.5 inches, okay? And come straight down and break this up. Just kind of guess here, but just, again, I think it's less important that these would be so straight because we're just going to make like another box right here like this and just come across. All right, so that's basically all we have to draw. And you're going, yeah, there was a lot of drawing. But if you get these basic things in here, I think it's going to be pretty easy because we'll do the flowers and everything later. And I think I want to, oh yeah, let's take a line like this. Let's come up about 1 inch here to put a dot and an angle like this and come across like that. Can we do that? Just like that? All right, that's pretty good. Okay, so that's where we want for colors. This is our color reference here. Okay, we're going to put that here. Let's get our triangle out of the way. And we're not going to tape everything, but we're going to use artist tape on some things. Okay, so I'm going to just, let's see. The first thing I want is a red. So I'm going to bring out their color here. This is called cadmium red light hue. All right, so this is this bright orange color. I'm going to take a small brush. I'm going to start just painting in our blocks of color. Now here's our cadmium red. Okay, that's not as bright as the red I've got. You can see it's not quite that bright. So maybe we could add a different red to it. Let's try, this is a alizarin crimson. So let's try adding a little alizarin crimson and mixing the two of these together. See if we get a brighter red like that, do we? Does that make a brighter red? Let's see. It does, look at that. So in order to get this red, we're going to go ahead and say that that's alizarin crimson. And this is the gold, you know, the Liquitex basic paints, okay? In order to get this bright red. Now some of you are using these, and this is a good exercise, and the reason we're doing that, some of you are trying to paint my, paintings where I use professional acrylics, and I notice you're not getting the colors, so I'm going to see using this set if we couldn't get the colors, or at least something, a close proximity to it, all right? But now here's the thing. Reds are, I don't care if you're painting the door in your house, reds are one of those colors that need 2 coats. So if we were to dry that, okay, if we were to dry that and do a second coat, we would probably have some pretty good success. Now I have a lighter orange next to that, see? So I'm going to add here's some yellow. And this is a Liquitex, it's just primary yellow, all right? So if I add a little bit of yellow to this orange that we just made, and I put some yellow, just put some pure yellow in here on my brush, there is definitely a lighter color here. Do you see that? Definitely lighter. All right, so that's not terrible. And then where else do I have orange? I have orange down here. I definitely have orange down here. It comes kind of at an angle like this. I have a little block of orange down here, so I'm going to give it a coat of there, like that. If you're wondering, this is one of these Ruby Satin Silver. It's a 3/8 inch brush, one of my favorite sizes. Can't say enough about this. I buy my brushes from a company called The Brush Guys, and I know my daughter Cinnamon does too, and Angela. And if you use my code, GingerCook, all one word, you go up under Teachers page, you will see my list of recommended brushes. And having good brushes will really make a difference. Okay, so this is orange right up here, the top of this little oval. Okay, so I'm going to paint that orange, and I'm going to come down here and paint this orange. What else is orange? There's a little orange, little tiny orange thing right there. Okay, so right now this is what we've got orange. We did these oranges. Okay, I think I'll paint a little line down like that. Now so far we haven't had to use the tape. I'll show you how we'll come back to the tape. All right, so this is the colors we've used so far. We used alizarin crimson, yellow, and cad red medium light. Those are the colors. Now I'm going to pause and get a second coat on this and let you see the difference. Okay, so you can see that this was one coat of paint here. That was with the professional acrylics. And we're going to have to do 2 coats of paint to get the same coverage, if we can get it at all. So let's see what we're going to get. Sometimes people think that when they buy these basics that they're saving money because ostensibly they look cheaper. But by the time you do 2 or 3 coats of paint to get the same result, you're not cheaper anymore, are you? All right, well, we're going to do it. I'm not complaining, just saying. Just saying, you guys. All right, so how did we do? Does that look a little better the second time around? Okay. There we go. Does look a little better, doesn't it? Okay, now let's do this one too. It's a second coat on this one. And again, sometimes just doing a second coat, knowing that you have to do it. If this is what you've got to work with, I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. Don't do that. But just know what you're going to have to do to get a better result. And let's take a little bit of yellow up here and give it a second coat for the light orange that we want up here. Okay. So again, we're looking. I think I want a little more yellow in that. Yeah, it's a little bit more yellow paint. There we go. Want this a little lighter. Okay, so you can see that's our reds. That's pretty good. Okay, so far so good. Everybody's with me. Now I'm going to rinse the brush. Now I need this, I think I want a purple next. So let's see what I've got in my kit here. Here's some cobalt blue. That's not going to do it. Here's phylocane blue. That's not going to do it. Boy, when you look at these, I mean, who knows what they are, right? This looks like it might be purple. Dioxazine purple. Okay, so we're gonna go next with dioxazine purple. Okay, put that up there. Now, particularly when you're using paints like this, wipe your brush, make sure you have no water on it. Really pinch it off. Now come up here with the purple. And what kind of coverage are we going to get? Pretty good. We're getting pretty good coverage with the purple. Alright, and I think I come up here like this, and that looks pretty good to me. Okay. Here's our purple. What I do like about a set like this is they're small. They'd be easy to travel with if you were just doing some, not some, too serious painting, but just were looking to just take something on a trip. I could see where this would be convenient. They'll throw everything in a bag and go. Very small, and come back and repaint it later. All right, so there's my purple. Now I'm not using tape yet either, but I could later. Okay. Okay, let's just straighten this out. Okay, so that's the only place I have purple. So, all right, so I'm going to rinse the brush because that's my purple. Now I need a green. Now this kit comes with a green. So let's see, what do we got here? Hooker's green. That's an interesting. Let's see what color that is. This is called Hooker's green. All right, so I need a green, but I'm going to want it a little bit darker than that. Now here's another green. This is phthalo green. Now that's a pretty bright green. Here's phthalo green. Okay, so I need a bright green right here. Let's try this. That's pretty. That's a pretty bright color. It's very translucent. Do you see that? You can really see under here. It's very translucent. So let's put a coat here and see what we've got. Now you may just like that, sort of an emerald color, or Wizard of Oz green. Now in abstracts you can be kind of crazy and bright. It's just a little bit too bright a green. You wouldn't want to use this in a regular landscape painting. It would look very amateurish, but it might be okay but you see it's not very dark. So if I were to take, say, phthalo blue and go on top of that, okay? Okay, blue, let's try that. Let's just go on top. Let's add some blue to this. Darken up this green. Would that do it for us? Kind of mix these colors together. It's very watery. I would say the thing about these colors are they're very watery and thin. Which is, sometimes you want that look. If you want a real transparent look, that might be something. Okay, so we're going to say there's our it really doesn't do much for me, okay? But I also have green here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the green here too, for sort of this green and blue. I'll mix the two together, phthalo blue and phthalo green together. I like to do this where, I'm putting in one color. Where else can I put the color? And I've got it, see, I think we said that there was a line here. Yeah, all this is green down here. Okay, so this is going to be green in here like this. Now, I would still like this darker. So what would happen if we added, let's see, what's our other color here? That's a cobalt blue. Do we have any other blues? They gave us quite a few blues in here. This is ultramarine blue. My temptation is to put a little bit of ultramarine blue with our green, see if we can get it darker, okay? See what that does. Oh, that's interesting. Makes it a little bit darker. I'm going to put some yellow with that. I'm not quite getting the green I want. Phthalo green, ultramarine blue, a little bit of yellow. Now let's see what I get. Oh, that's better. Okay, so that's closer to what I was mixing, and I added the cad yellow medium, ultramarine blue and the phthalo green and a bit of yellow. And I got a little bit darker green here. And again, this may take 2 coats. I'm going to come up here, and this is a little bit darker than the top. This is, okay, let's put a little more yellow in here like that. All right, we're going to just change it like this. Now, if I wanted this green darker, and it's not dark enough for me, what could I do? One of the things you will get in a kit like this is black. So I'm going to show you what happens if we add a little black to this green, okay? Let's take a little black. I'm going to put that right on here like this. Now the black is going to darken up the color a little bit to differentiate it from, say, this color up here. But again, you're seeing a lot of brush marks. You see that? Seeing a lot of brush marks. Okay. But it is a little bit darker, so we'll give them that. It's a little bit darker. So we're just, sometimes you just have to do things differently to get the effect you want. Okay, and I want this to be darker right here, so I'm going to come under here like this with this brush right like that. And I think there was like a little, okay, like this, something like this. All right, so we're saying we want this darker. So now what we have to do is sort of pause and dry everything. When you've got all these colors going, let's just do that, okay? Let's just pause and dry. All right. Okay, so we paused and dried it, okay? Now, I'm still seeing brush marks in here, so let's just do this again. Let's just put all these colors together again and do a second coat. Okay, now it's looking a little better with the second coat, isn't it? Looking a little darker. I'm seeing fewer brush strokes. Okay, so the pigment's covering. And that may be just what you have to do. And then if you like a little translucent area, leave it. If you think that's pretty, then leave it. You may want it a little more translucent, and that's okay. All right, so there's our dark now. We've sort of gotten that. And I think I would like to take some white and add it to the phthalo green. And I'm just going to play a little bit here, because I think this is, still has it's too streaky. But actually, I would like it even different than I did there. So if I'm going to take a little bit of white to my phthalo green like this. I'm going to come up here like this, a little bit of white to my phthalo green. I'm just going to come up here like this and add this color. That's, here, let's see, this is our phthalo. That's hookers. Let's put hookers back. And we're going to come up here and do this. Okay, a little bit of white to the phthalo green. Now look what happened. Okay. That's actually very pretty, isn't it? Okay. And I think I'd like that color right here too, so I'm just going to paint right over this one. Just change that. You can just, this is your abstract, you can change things. Okay. Now, one of the things that I've got going is I've got a turquoise here, and I've sort of changed this. So what could we do? Let's take lots of white now, make a really light color, and let's just come in here like this, just adding more white to the phthalo green. And let's just come in here and say, here's our light turquoise color. Okay, now you'll notice how I might wipe the brush off, and notice that when I'm doing brush strokes, if I don't want them to show, I'm making a complete brush stroke. I don't stop in the middle. If you stop in the middle, you will get sometimes a brush mark that you may not want. Okay, so here's this, and that's pretty. Let's put some of this. Okay, so we had another blue in here. Let's see, I think we said this was cobalt. Yeah, I'm going to take some blue. This is cobalt blue. I'm going to change blues. And now here, all by itself, here's some cobalt. That's a different blue completely. See that? I'm going to add that little blue right there. I think I'd actually like it to cover a little more a larger area. So I'm going to come up over my orange, which is dry, and make that, it is covering, make that a little bigger rectangle. Okay, there's my cobalt blue, which is, again, different. Now let's put it down here, too. Let's come down here and just add a little bit of that color down here. Okay, that's fun. It's like putting a puzzle together, isn't it? Where else can I put this color? Now I'm looking at my purple, and see, all my lines are a little wonky. You see, nothing's really straight and crisp. But I'm going to show you, when we start drying things, I'm going to show you how we're going to change that. All right, so now I want to take some yellow and just add that. Just a little bit of yellow. See, what was this color right here? That was phthalo green, I think, and yellow. And let's just make this a little bit of a bright green color. Now, I think, here's our yellow. Let's put a little more yellow out. Just a touch. Okay. Now, my brush is still dirty, so to get this light green, there we go, and I want to come in here like this with this little rectangle. Put a little green. Okay, so you see how these colors are coming together. This is still wet. Now, if I wanted, here's that hooker's green we talked about. Let's take some hooker's green and put it down here, and so let's see what that looks like. The hooker's green is almost an olive. Okay, so we'll put that down here. That's pretty. As long as we were doing greens, but if you're mixing greens, you just maybe use ultramarine blue and yellow to get this green. Okay, so there's that, and we've got some other accent green colors. But right now we haven't, really done much of anything. Okay, so I think there was a little bit of a, let's see. Let's just make that a little bit darker here. Let's just make this green a little bit darker. Okay, there we go. All right, so those are our three greens. Now I'm going to just stop and dry some stuff, okay? We're going to just, again, dry again, and we'll see if we can't clean up some of these lines. Okay, so here's our artist tape. Now, the older tape gets, the longer you've had it, the stickier it gets. Did you know that? So I'm just going to put it on this mat like this. And I'm going to just pull it up a little bit. Kind of do it on your pants, whatever. All right, now I'm going to come like this. Okay, right next to here like this. And I'm going to tape this down like this and with my thumbnail. Looks like I didn't get it as dry as I would have liked. That's all right. I'm going to just do that, and then I'm going to come down here just a little bit below on the black like this. Okay. Now make sure your brush is dry. What I mean is it really wring it out. Now let's go back to our greens, right? That we just, I think that was phthalo green and white. I'm going to come down here a little bit more phthalo green. Go ahead, I'm just going to do a second coat of green. A third coat, actually. Isn't this a third coat? Okay, now, just very gently pull this off. Now, look at that beautiful, nice, clean line we've got. What do you do with the tape? You roll it up, dip it in some water to loosen the glue, and then put it in your wastebasket. Be careful, you don't want this going down the drain in your sink. Okay, so what about, all right, we've got some tape now. What else could we clean up here a little bit? Could we clean anything else up? Well, I think we could clean up the line for the purple right here. Don't you think so? If we just did a little bit of this right here like that, we just take a little, here, palette knife and just use that to kind of rip the tape. Now, okay, so I want dodging purple. I'm going to come right up here over the top of that tape, right like that. All right, good line. Okay, a little bit nicer. All right, so you could go around your whole painting like that, and after it's dry, and do that. But let's see, let's get some beige going here. Now we need this beige color. Now in our kit, let's see, we want to bring our kit back over here like this. In our kit, we've got, see what's left. Of course, we had the white, we've got greens, reds, and I want some sort of off-white color. So I'm going to take yellow oxide. I bet that's what this is. Let's see, acrylic color, yellow oxide, that's what it is. Boy, it takes my glasses on here to see it, okay? Little yellow oxide. And I'm going to use their white so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to use their white. A little white right there. Maybe 2 whites. Let's do 2 whites, okay? Okay, now. Alright, so I'll start with starting with white. You got to make sure your brush is clean, which means you are rubbing it on the bottom of your cup. And then you're wiping it off on a clean towel like this. And pinching it, making sure you have no stuff on it. So I'm going to start with white and a little tiny bit of yellow. And we've got this light beige color. That's pretty. And we're going to say that all of this whole rectangle in here is going to be, I'm going to make this whole color sort of this off-white color here, like that. And could I tape this? I don't think that this will, I would be better off to tape the orange, not the red. And the reason being is because the orange will cover over the light color better than the light color is going to cover over the orange. I'm going to come down like this. Just fill this whole thing in. Let's see, let's come right next to here like that. Kind of do our best to get, kind of some clean lines. Like this, and then let's come over here and do this one like that. Let's just paint this little area in here. It's interesting. I said not to use pencil, but in this case, you want a line coming down here, which is going to be for our vase. So maybe you did want a pencil line there that just kept showing. All right, so here's coming right next to this green here, like this. Kind of covering over my chalk here. All right, so that's that, and then all this is here, and then, all right, pure yellow oxide is in here. That's that yellow oxide color. That's going to be in here like this. And just a little streak down here like that. Just put one in like that. There you go. And then what about right here? All right, so let's get this color. This is pure yellow oxide. And I'm going to go ahead, and that seems to cover pretty well. Again, if I want a crispy line, here, I'm going to come down here like that. I'd be better off to use the darker color and overlap this one. Okay. I've got this slightly different than the other picture, but that's okay. Just you get the general idea of what we're doing, okay? And let's see. I want to come up here a little bit on here like this and come up to the top of this and make this a little wider here like this. Put a little white with that, lighten that up. Okay. All right. Oops. Came out a little further. That's all right. than I wanted, but that's okay. This all can be put back with paint. Alright, so this is our colors here. Now what about this color in here? I had that as a pink, I think, but not that larger pink. But I like pink, so let's just, how would we do pink? Well, we had a color out here called alizarin crimson. And that with white would make a pretty decent pink. I'll show you what I mean. That's a pretty good pink right here, like that. That's pretty. Like that. There's a nice pink. Okay, that's just alizarin crimson and white. Okay, so you see we're painting in our colors. This block's a little off, but you know, that's what drawing your canvas does, okay? Let's put a little more alizarin crimson with that and kind of brighten up that pink. And you got to look and say, which colors now do I need to go over a second time? I need to dry it. Do I need to put a little pink right there? That's pretty. Okay, and let's see. I want a brighter blue next to this green, so I'm going to take some white and blue and I'm going to mix a color now. This is white and blue and phthalo green. Lighten up this blue right here. This is our second coat of this color. I'm going to come here like this and put another coat right here like that of these two colors. That's pretty. Make that block a little bigger. And let's see, where else could I put a color? I think I'll put a little color right here too. Got a little space, I'm not sure why, but I'm going to put a color there. And then here, I've got a leaf that I've painted, just like a football. I'm going to put that color in here too. Now, this is sort of fun. Take your back of your palette knife, right? And scrape out the lines on the leaf like that. Okay? I mean, you can do, if you don't like it, you can paint it over, and then sometimes you can do like this leaf was two-toned. Here was a little green. You can still keep it going. See, here was a little green on that one, and then you still can scrape out. So it'll scrape down to the next level. So if you ever wanted to, like, for instance, paint something, like this is dry, right? So if I were to paint another color over this, let's see, what could I paint over that? Just as an example, let's just suppose I wanted to paint, I don't want pink. What could I put here? I want orange. Oh, how about a light purple? Let's just as an example for that, right? Let's say I want a light purple there, right? So just white and purple. Let's say I want to change this green color to white and purple. A little bit more purple with that. Okay, now I could take something sharp like this, and I could scrape out a design. If the green were really dry, I could scrape out some sort of design in here. I think that it's kind of scraping off the green paint too, but technically you could. If the green paint, a couple coats of green paint dried, you could then scrape off a design from underneath. So when you're talking about doing an abstract, you can do so much with an abstract. I like this purple. Let's add a little bit of this purple color right into here too, like that. And that's pretty. Let's just put some right next to that. Next to this green. Okay, there we go. Maybe a little bit stronger. It's too light. Okay, there we go. A little more contrast. I'm going to bring it down here. There, like this. That's it. There we go. We're going to say that's part of the vase. I'm going to come back up here with some orange and say that this whole top part here is part of my vase. Just paint around there. Just increase this oval. I know it's an abstract, but this is still a vase right here. So we're going to just put some paint right like this. Interesting how it doesn't want to paint over, isn't it? So what can we do? That doesn't want to paint over. Now that's my regular professional acrylics would paint over that immediately. So now what could I do? I could take some white and do this. And the white should help with my oval. Okay? And now we're going to dry it, and I'll show you how to fix that. Okay, I dried it. I put professional acrylic white on top. Now I'm going to dry that. Okay, and then using just Cad Red Medium Light now, I'm going to come over here with pure color. Now sometimes if you are running out, this is important. If you find your colors disappearing and getting all muddy, just stop, put white back, and dry. This will make a big difference, okay? Now we've dried, this has not been dried. And I want to clean up these lines here with tape before we go too much further. So I got to dry. This is a little damp here. Just test your stuff. See where you are with it, right? Go ahead and test your stuff. This is dry right here. I can take a little tiny piece of tape here. I want to do a couple things. I want to do this right like that and here. Oops. Little tiny piece of tape right here like this. I just want you to see the difference that tape makes. And puts a little piece back here like that. You can always use the other side. Did you know that? Alright, so I want that to be that light beige color, which is just white yellow oxide. And I'm going to use my professional white because that's going to cover the others not. You see the difference? The white that we got in the box is not going to cover that at all, but the professional white will. Okay, so let's just pull that up like this. There. So we got a nice little white edge here, and let's just pull this one up. Okay, so you see that's pretty nice. We've got that little edge right there. I'm going to just bring the little bit of paint right in here like this. Okay, there we go. So that's one thing you can do, and let's just straighten up that edge real quick before we put our flowers. Okay, so this is a main part of our piece. So we want this wiggly edge fixed. Okay, so I'm going to just take some tape like this, and then just take my palette knife and trim it right here at the top. Okay, and I think I want it trimmed like that. No, I don't want that. Wait a minute. Stop. Let's bring this down where I can actually see it. Okay, so let's take another piece of tape. It's really hard to work with short pieces of tape. Okay, so we're going to take a tape like this, bring that down just about like this, and then use my palette knife to cut it on the edge like that. And then I'm going to come up here like this on the edge of this one, come over just a hair. Now burnish down your tape like that. Now let's go into our red. Now again, we're going into our red. We're doing a second coat of this red, which was alizarin crimson and cadmium yellow, or cadmium red light. Okay, so those were the two colors that we used to make that bright orange color. So as long as I'm doing it, I might just put out some more of these colors. There's that. Where's our, let's see, is this orange up here? A little bit of that color. Let's make sure we have enough of this color mixed. Like that. It's about half and half if you're wondering the mixture. It's about half and half. So I want to come down over this. This is just, as long as I'm here, I might just give this a second coat of paint. This, I guess we're on our third. A lot of trouble here. This is why I'm really like the professional acrylics, so I'd only be doing this maybe once, twice at the most. Okay, so now we're going to just go ahead and put the brush in water and pull this tape off. See, that gave us a nice clean line, which is what we want. Nice clean line, right like that. There we go. Nice clean line. This is what we're looking for, clean lines. All right, so we're going to dry this whole thing again. And do we need to clean up this line here with some orange before we go? Do we need to do that? Could we clean, again, you just have to ask yourself, do we want to do that? You know, do we want to clean this line up? I think I want to come up this way with this. Let's see if we can cover using that white color. See if that'll work. Here's our professional white yellow oxide. Okay, professional white yellow oxide. We're going to just come up here like this. And a little more white with that. How'd we do? Alright, that seemed to work pretty well. Didn't know if the tape was down as much as I'd like, but there we go. Okay, so let's take a minute and listen. What do you do with the leftover paint? This is where I want you to just kind of get your edges. You might want to, I think I'd probably paint the whole thing kind of orange. As long as you were painting it, you know, if you were doing it. But that's where you do that. Your edges, go ahead and paint your edges in there. This tape wasn't burnished down enough. I'm going to fix that. Okay. Alright, but pretty much we've got some nice straight lines here. I'm going to take a little bit of that orange paint. Then I'm going to go around the outside edge of this leaf like that, because I think it needs it. That's just my feeling about it. I think it needs it. There we go, like that. Okay, that's pretty. Sometimes you can see where you need to do things, and let's just pull that one like that as long as we're playing. What else could we do? Oh yeah, let's go take some green. Let's make a green color, and I think we had some green up here like this. And under here like this. Now I need a straight line going down to here. Straight line. Now this is still wet, so if I'm not likely to get it. Okay, I could use my palette knife like this. Paint right next to my palette knife using just a little bit of green here. I can move my palette knife. Kind of lean it back a bit. That's an interesting trick, isn't it? And I think you could freehand in this one. But we've got a line coming down kind of at an angle here. But we'll put those in later. But we've got a cross piece going here and here like that. Okay? And then we're going to have a dark line coming down here. And let's see. I think I want a little... We're all good. All right. So what else could I do before I put my flowers on? Nothing. I think that's it. That's all we can do. Oh yeah, we were going to clean this up too, remember? We said we were going to clean this line up right here. Now burnish that tape down. Make sure it's nice and dark. And let's see, I think we had a little bit of black out, didn't we? Tiny bit of black. Black is one of the few times you can use black as in an abstract. Usually you will never see me using black, but you can in an abstract. So I'm going to come down here like this with some black paint. I think I'm just going to make this whole thing darker. I had it dark green, but I think I just want it black. Okay, I'm going to pull off the tape. It's pretty good. It's right here, it's not. Right there. And that's because the tape wasn't squished down enough. But you can erase too. You guys know how to erase? Well, to erase, you just clean brush. Just come up like that and just pull that off. Alright, so let's pause and dry, and then we'll put our flowers in. Okay, so I'm pretty sure everything's dry on here. I'm pretty happy with this. This is dry. I want to show you how we're going to do these flowers. I'm just going to draw them for you, alright? Because they're not that hard. They're just sort of odd shapes, okay? If you thought of a thing that came down here like this, okay? Something like that. Or a flower that went like this. Okay? Or maybe one that, they're very angular, which makes them sort of funny. Okay, they're very angular flowers. And then we get some of this with tape, and then here's another one. Angular flowers, okay? And let me see, just move this up so I can show you. Angular flowers. Very abstract angular flowers. Alright, so now that you've kind of decided that, let's pull, let's take our small brush, which has been sitting in water, and we're going to start off with, we want sort of a pink color, and I think we liked the alizarin crimson, didn't we? Yeah, here's a little more alizarin crimson, and I think we want white, and we want this to be fairly thick. Now, here's the thing about something like this. If you wanted to, you could use like a heavy matte gel, and I'm going to show you what that might be sort of interesting. You could just, you know, even with pictures, you know, colors like this. Okay, this gel is really dried out. Man, this is gone. See that? Alright, that gel is absolutely gone. Alright, so probably should have sprayed water on that. Let's see, this was, okay, this is actually modeling paste, and one of my friends used this jar to put it in there. Okay, that's gone. Throwing jar away. Next, do we have a gel I can show you? Zinc white. Alright, let me just pause and go get you a gel. I'm going to show you how to do a gel with these flowers. Alright, this is Liquitex modeling paste, alright? I'm going to put a little of that out on my palette, okay? All that is, it's modeling paste. It takes about, I don't know, about 12 hours to dry. Alright, but we're going to just sort of sculpt some flowers on this. I'll show you how we're going to do that. Now, first off, we're going to paint the flowers on. We're going to take some white and pink, and we're going to go ahead and paint the flowers on here first. I'm going to get my shape. I'm going to come up here, kind of over here by the corner. Here, come down like this. Just paint this sort of angular flowers, these two flowers here, like that. Just paint some angular flowers. Okay, maybe put some, there we go. Now, well, I need the shape of these, alright? So these are my, and I've got another pink one coming over here on my vase. Like this, but you know what? I got to put this line in. Let me just stop a minute. Put this line in first, because everything has to be sort of done in some sort of reasonable order. So I need a line going from here down to here, and I'm going to use black, and I'm going to tape it. I want a line going from here to here. Okay, and I want, let's see, I'm not going to use my fingernail. I want this burnished down very well. So what can I use? A little palette knife, okay? See that? I'm really pushing that line down. Take a little brush, black paint, no water on it. Now, see how perfect that line is? Now, definitely wanted that line there. And you could have used a pen too, by the way. Sharpie would have been fine. I just want you to see, if you want to go around and straighten up a lot of your lines on your piece, you can. As long as I'm doing this, I'm going to just take my angle brush here and come around the outside of this like this, put a little dark. I want a little dark triangle right here in black. Like that, just for decoration. No particular reason. Okay. And I'm going to come around like this with our black line on the top of here like this. There we go. Let's just pull it underneath like that. Alright, so that's about all the black lines we have except for the flowers. Make sure I've got this painted in here. That black is very thin. So black is a really cheap color in the professional paint. If you must insist on using black, I would suggest a bigger one. Make sure we've got it nice and tight down here like this. Okay, and you know another line that, as long as we're playing with stuff, another line I'd like a little bit better is this one here. Once we start putting the modeling paste on, we're sort of done, okay? We can't do much of anything, all right? I'm going to just squish this down. As long as we're in the pinks, I want this take my alizarin crimson professional white, and I'm going to just straighten this up here like this. I want this edge better on this little block of color. See? Just makes a difference. All right, so we've got a pink there. Now let's keep going. We've got another pink flower here. Now, dry your black first, because if you get near your black, you're gonna smudge it into the pink. So I'm gonna dry the black. Okay, so I'm gonna say that's the pink I want here. All right. All right, and then I'm gonna say, because there's no contrast to that, I'm gonna put a little bit of green. I want a block of green right under this, and I think instead I'm going to dry this and put a green leaf, and I'll show you how we're going to do that, all right? All right, I'm going to take some green now, like this, and right under here like that, just to make sure I have enough yellow out for my green. I think I just was using Hooker's green and yellow because it was in the kit, but just any old green will do. It's sort of pretty bright green. I'm going to come here like this and put a leaf right under this flower like this. And I want a leaf here too, a little football shaped leaf. And I'm going to say that this leaf up here is just, we're going to pretend that's a leaf. We're just going to kind of block that out, and let's just bring this down under here like that green. Okay, so it's you know, you're sort of saying something happened, but that you didn't really, okay? And you're going, I don't understand that. I know, but trust me. Okay, so now I had this purple here, and I like the purple. I had it green before, but I like the purple. So I think I want to bring this leaf, take a little bit of white with this so it'll cover. I'm going to bring this leaf. Now I'll put some green with it. I'm going to it's not really leaf, but I want to bring this out into this block right like this. Change the color of this. As long as we're doing stuff. Maybe make this 2 different colors. There we go. All right, so there. So we've got that going this way, kind of crossing over in front of that block, and then I've got gonna put this at this angle like this. I get a little triangle up here like that. All right. Now in here we've got an orange flower, and again we're going to do the modeling paste last. And let's see, do we have any green here? We dried this. We can just emphasize the green here. In here maybe, okay. All right, so far so good. Maybe it's a little bit of yellow here. Let's just be the last of the big spenders. Put a little yellow. There we go. Okay, so now there's an orange flower here, but the green has to be dry. Now Here's why. Green and red are opposite each other on the color wheel. And so what happens when you put a wet green and a wet red together, all your colors go muddy. So the most important thing, if you learn nothing else from what we did today, is learn the value of drying things. Absolutely. Learn to dry. I can't say that enough. Really cannot say that. Just can't say that enough. You got to learn to dry things. And you know what? I like this leaf so much here. I'm going to put one here. I really like that leaf a lot, right like that. And I'm going to add another one here. Okay, let's take a little bit of white. This I'm covering over black. I like the leaf right there. But I won't leave it that dark, but or that light. But I'm going to just say, here's a leaf here like that. I really like that one. And I like the fact that it's got some colors. It's two different colors. Let's see, do we have any phthalo blue? And white, maybe? There, that's pretty. Alright, I like that, right like that. Just saying, I like the idea of that leaf right there, so then I'm going to take my palette knife and just going to scrape off. Where's the other one? This might work. Okay. Alright, that's cute. Don't think I need this right there. Just put that back. Okay, so it's dry, and we'll move on. Okay, so this is dry enough where we want the orange. So let's take out some clean yellow that doesn't have any white on it. And some of that red color. It's our light, red light hue. Let's do that. And mix these together and make a nice bright orange. We're going to say that right in here like this, we've got a bright orange flower like that. Or at an angle. Sure, you've got some really strong angles on it. Okay, now you see how that is very translucent. Let me zoom in. You see how very translucent that is? Because this paint doesn't cover, not just for the fun of it. I'm going to show you what happens if we use professional paint. So here's the same company. This is Liquitex. Here's Cad Red Medium and a professional. And this is why you're not saving money when you do this. Now look how the Cad Red is covering the green in a professional acrylic. See the difference? Okay, and I just want you to see that because that's a huge difference. All right, let me just put that right here too. Let me just show you. Okay, maybe even up here in this corner. Look at the brightness of the color. Look how much brighter the colors are when you do that. I just wanted you to see that because I don't think until you really try it, and then I understand if you're working with this, here we go, if you're working with this, this is what you've got to work with. I get it, okay? But I'm going to just clean this little area up right here, just make this a little orange block. Okay, like that. Okay, so, I mean, I understand that's what we're doing, okay, and I think I want some orange down here too on this leaf. There we go. That's pretty, right? Okay. So now, I think in the picture, I've got some yellow in here too, but that we're going to have to do with the modeling paste. All right. So we're going to I'm going to show you how to use the modeling paste to do these because your acrylics are very thin. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take some of this pink color that we've made, some crimson, right? White, and we're going to take a little tiny bit of the modeling paste, not very much, right? Just a little tiny bit to make your paint thicker. Now let's put this on again. This is layer 2. You can do up to 50%, but this is layer 2. And here's our, let's see, that's our alizarin crimson. Yeah. Get a little more of that, okay? We want some professional white. A little more of that. Now, here's this and that. Let's mix our color. Grab a little modeling paste like that. A little bit thicker. This will go on a little bit like peanut butter, okay? Like this. Now, the reason you might want to do this, it will give your painting, be very subtle, but it will give it a lot more body, okay? I'm not suggesting you paint the whole thing with it. Now, if we take some modeling paste in this lighter color over here, which was white and a little yellow oxide, remember? Which we had right. Did I put that back? I might have put that back. I think I put that back. Here we go. Let's get some of that out. Okay, here's our that. Okay, so we want this color here. A little bit of white, a little bit of modeling paste, a little bit of yellow oxide. I'm going to put a little dab of that on here like this. So you just touch it, okay? You can just almost roll it off your brush. It'll stick, okay? Now, take some pure acrylic and come right on top of this modeling paste. And now suddenly you've got some interesting flowers. See what we're doing here, a little bit of dark. Because it's going to just sit right on top of that modeling paste like this and give us a really good looking flower. Like that. That's going to give us some good looking flowers here. Now, how about the orange one? Yeah, let's take some modeling paste like this. Come up here, put a little bit of red with it. Now, let's just come on up here like this with the modeling paste. Some yellow. Okay, just kind of layer it on. I don't think I dried this orange first, and you want to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just skin this over. What I mean by that is you're not going to dry the modeling paste, but you can skin it over, okay? Let's see, I'm going to say there's this flower like that. Okay, so those are flowers. Now we're going to just stop and skin those by drying it. Okay, so what I mean by skin over is these are not completely dry, okay? They're just dry to the touch if I don't squish hard, all right? Now, I'm going to come back with our yellow paint, if I've got any here. I'm going to sit that on top. See, I want some clean yellow, doesn't have any green in it. Okay. I'm going to sit that on top like this. Just with a few little yellow highlights like that, okay? Okay, there you go. Now, I'm going to take, let's see, maybe some, a strong color that was pretty good here was your dazzling purple in this group. Dazzling purple was one of your strongest colors. Let's see, where's that? Yeah, this was one of your stronger colors. Black was not, but dazzling purple was. So now, using a thin brush and pointed brush like this, I'm going to take that and I'm going to just outline some funny angles here. Pinch your brush, use these little angle brushes here, like this, barely touch it. And I'm going to say that there's this flower has this weird abstract, and that's why it's looking abstract, is we're doing all these odd angles. Which is really, you want to do curves on flowers, you don't want sharp angles, and so this was what kind of makes it seem very abstract, was just these curves that we're doing, these sort of, I mean, they're straight lines instead of curves. Okay. All right, see that? Now, this one's a little more challenging because we haven't dried it. Just come across here like this. Come under on this side. And just touch the brush at this point because it's kind of wet. Just touch it and imply something on the inside of that one. Let's do this one too. Each line needs its own fresh paint. Don't forget that. Each line, and there's some little tiny stuff in the center. Okay, so let's back out of there. Now I think I want to take some light pink and white. Just touch this a little bit. I want a little bit of white here on this flower here like that. And here I had it in beige, but I'm going to lighten this up just a hair. Okay. A little more pink right here. So what'll I guess what I'm saying is the modeling paste gives you a little bit of body. Let's see, what else did I have? I had some white and blue. There's a little bit of blue behind this flower right here. I'm going to just trim this flower down a little bit. So a little tiny bit of blue in here. Okay, like that. And, oh yeah, because remember, orange and blue are on the color wheel. So here's this blue. Need some blue underneath this flower to make this work. Like that. There we go. Okay, now in my picture, I'm going to show you now both pictures. I don't really have any stems. This is very abstract. Part of me wants to put a stem in. If I did a stem, I think I'd still probably do it in, well, I think I'd probably have to make it green. If I did a stem, I'd want a green stem. And you can decide if you want to add a stem in here or not. Just, I know this is one of the hardest things for me to do is abstracts, because I want to keep adding things. All right, like for instance, right here, I want a very bright light green leaf right here, like this. Over the top of that glass, right like that. And then part of me, see, I'm sorry, this is it. You know, I start off with these abstracts, and then part of me is going, yeah, and then part of me wants to do this. Just put a highlight on the glass. I know, and then it's not so much of an abstract anymore, but that's what I've got. I mean, that's where I like to sort of finish off, is something like that. And then, if I'm saying that happened there, right? Now, okay, you just got to go with me on this. All right. Trust me. All right, so now I'm going to come under here like this and repeat this shape right here. So it doesn't look like it's floating in that sort of cad red medium. And I'm just going to put it down here on top of the purple. So it doesn't look like it's floating. How funny is that? I mean, just really. Okay. So again, this is our, this is a, you know, an abstract, but it's what we call figurative abstract. And that, and I actually kind of like it better with the, I like it better with this leaf right here. I don't know if I like the color of that leaf. Let's, this is a pretty bright, obnoxious green. Let's try this one. What is this color called? Put my glasses on, I'll read it to you. This is light green, permanent light green, Liquitex Basics. What do we got here? Well, I think in order for that to be effective, we'd have to dry it. So let's just dry it and take a final look at our stuff. Okay, I dried it and did a second coat of that green. And let's see, do we have any yellow we could put with that? Like that, that might be pretty. Just put a little yellow with that. Okay. There we go. Let's see, do we want to touch this leaf up a little bit too? This is another one that could get a little brighter. I like the color of that one being darker and then these two being brighter. And then down here on the bottom, here's my purple again. Down here on the bottom, I just want a dark purple. Let's see, where's purple? Right here. Dark purple right here. Like that. Little dark purple under the shadow like that. Okay. And that, you guys, is our abstract. And I don't know, but I think that's really pretty. It just, I'm going to just move our paint out. And we did this all with the basics. And let's see, I managed to get something on here while I was playing on the original. So let me just take some water and just get that off. If you've dried stuff, you can get away with a lot because you should be able to release. Okay, that's not coming off, so we'll just put some black back over that. What is that kind of lizard? Let's see, paint that back over. I think I had some black sitting up here, didn't I? Yeah, here. On this one, I'll just paint that back. Okay, get another little coat there. So a problem when you're touching stuff, get paint, but you can always repaint something, so don't panic. If you can't get it off, just paint it again. Okay, so there's that one, and let's see. This would, well, I don't know if I wouldn't want black right here on the sides as long as I'm cleaning my brush. Might be fun to just take those colors all the way around the sides, just the way you have them. Or you could frame it too, but you can kind of see the difference when we do that. It kind of looks a little better. But there you go, you guys. That's our abstract picture. I think I like the modeling paste with this. It just made a little bit. It made your flowers stick out a little bit more. It doesn't take much. Probably a teaspoon or two of the modeling paste was all you needed to do. Don't forget to go ahead and use your tape to tape up some, nice lines. And again, if you're having trouble, a Sharpie would work too. If you're having trouble with, doing some of these smaller lines, go ahead and use a Sharpie. That would absolutely work too. And I would say that we did pretty well with that. We got 3 pink roses and 1 orange one. And I would say that came out really well. Really, I'm happy with it. Hope you like it. Now's the time to sign it. We talk about this just at the end of this, and probably some of you probably already turned it off, but I want to say this again. I said it at the beginning. About half the people that watch our videos don't subscribe, and we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel. Here's the thing. If you have an artist or someone else on you, it doesn't matter who, that you like, subscribe to their channels. That's your way of, it's better than even a thumbs up, though thumbs ups are great, because the search engine helps other people that will find it too. It increases our chances of being seen in the search engines, and and it just shares the love. So we appreciate that very much, and hope you enjoyed this. And we're hoping to have a good vacation here this May. Look for some of our live fast uploads that we're going to be doing, little quickie things from places where we can find the internet, and throughout our first 3 weeks in May while we're on vacation. And I hope you enjoyed this. And this is Ginger Cook saying have a wonderful day.